This is Malaysia, and in specific, this is the island, the main island of Langkawi in northwestern Malaysia. If you drop me off here after a long sleep, I would believe you in every sense of the word that I was in Thailand. Most people don't associate Malaysia with beautiful beaches, tropical islands, but Langkawi in the northwest of Malaysia has all of that. I've got to be honest, it has a very different feel to Thailand. Being only around 30 miles away from Thailand, it does have a lot of similarities. So in this video, I'm going to explain why, even though Langkawi is by no means a hidden gem, why it might just be worth adding this to your travel itinerary if you have not been yet. This, as north as you can get on the west coast. Koh Lipe, for example, is around 30 miles away from here, and that is one of the most southern islands of Thailand. So they're not far apart, and you can see the similarities between them. Whether it's the kind of tourists that Langkawi attracts, whether it's because it is Malaysia, whether it's because the cultural or religious beliefs here, it has a completely different feel. Even though you are so close to Thailand, it looks so similar to Thailand. It has a completely different feel to anywhere I've really been in Southeast Asia. Definitely one of the strangest things about Langkawi for me is that they get more tourists here than Koh Samui in Thailand every single year, which seems baffling because Koh Samui is so busy and so popular and so spoken about, and Langkawi isn't by no means a hidden gem, but everywhere you go on the island, it's very quiet. Now, a big appeal of Langkawi could potentially be the fact that it's duty free, so you can get alcohol for cheaper, cigarettes and tobacco for cheaper, you can get chocolate for cheaper, pretty much anything that's not good for you. No, you can get clothes, all the usual stuff that you would be able to get for duty free in a duty free country or an airport, you can get here for lower costs, which could be an appeal. There are some weird legalities around it, like you have to be here for 48 hours and you can only take a certain amount out with you. So it's not like you can come here and just take everything and make a massive earner back in your own country or back on the mainland. But that is an appeal to especially a lot of tourists, because when you're going out for food, when you're going out for some drinks, you can feel the price decrease. When you're in the shop, things are cheaper here than they are on the mainland. Now, a little theory of mine as to why the tourists here feel a little bit calmer or fewer and further between or less so, is it because of the religious and cultural aspect of Langkawi having a big Muslim population? Does that impact the type of tourists that are here? Is the fact that you can't buy alcohol in every single shop and every single restaurant, does that impact the type of tourists here, or the fact that then you don't get as much of the riffraff or people out drinking all day? I genuinely don't know. The island is beautiful. It is quite quiet in the mornings, it's quite quiet in the afternoons. It gets a bit busier in the evenings, but nothing like what you would expect of a busy tropical paradise island that is popular with tourists. It still baffles me where everybody is. Jesus. There's also a fair few dogs. Some of them are a little bit rowdy. And if you're very lucky, you'll see a monkey, like I can right now. It's actually the first time I've seen one of these since being on Langkawi, but that is a spectacled langur. They're actually quite rare. I've been wanting to see one for ages. I went to a national park in Thailand last year and I didn't see one, but this guy's just popped out the bushes. How sick is that? That's actually a really nice way to close out this trip in Langkawi, and a nice highlight. I know this isn't why you're here, but the reason they're called spectacled langurs is because they're all black and then they've got this little white patch around both their eyes that look like glasses. You've got a few beautiful beaches on the island. You have got some bars, some restaurants. Two of the main beaches are very close to Langkawi Airport, Pantai Chenang and Pantai Tengah. I'll put the names on the screen now. The airport's very close by to these two main areas. You've got some big, nice plush hotels that you can stay at. So if you're coming for a 5-star holiday, you've got that. You've got a lot of accommodation choices. The accommodation usually are like homestays or more motel-y kind of things. We stayed in an Airbnb for 4 nights, and then 2 more nights we stayed in another hotel that was around $20 to $25 for the night. Now that's very much on the cheaper end of accommodation here in Langkawi, but when when eating out, it is moderately priced. It's slightly more expensive in the Western restaurants and slightly nicer restaurants than it is in the local restaurants, to be expected, but it's also slightly more expensive in them than it is on the mainland of Malaysia in our experience. Alcohol is definitely cheaper when you're going out for a beer. It can be somewhere under £2 for a draft beer, which in Malaysia is cheap. When you go into the shop, you can get a big can of beer for less than £1 or about $1, which again is very cheap. And when you catch taxis around, they're super cheap. You can get about a 15-minute ride for about £1 or $1.20, and they'll arrive very quickly as well. And you can get scooter rental here for about $8 to $10 a day. And when you ride out of this main touristy area that we're staying close to, Pantai Chenang, the roads are super clear, super quiet, well maintained all across the island. And then up in the northern part of the island, you've got a beach called Tanjung Ru. You've got an absolutely beautiful paradise-esque beach that has limestone cliffs in front of you. You have the sea there, you have a nice beach, the water is quite calm, the water is also quite clear. You then have a few little restaurants or huts selling drinks, souvenirs, food, etc. Very nice and worth a little day trip out. You have a bunch of other things to do on the island, like going up to the sky bridge and looking out across all of Langkawi. We didn't get round to doing that, but a lot of people like to come to Langkawi and do that. It's one of the more popular touristy things to do on the island. Now, in terms of internet connection or working here, we are both working, so that's an important factor for us. Internet connection for the most part is good. Where we're currently staying, it's terrible. It's not good, it's not bad, it is terrible. Everywhere else we've been, it's been very good. Our phone connection has worked through our Malaysian SIM, our internet has worked, our Wi-Fi has worked, so all of that's been very good. However, where we're staying now has been very bad. So I think as a general for the island, it is good here with the Wi-Fi and for the internet connection. However, it is not 10 out of 10, there are its flaws. Whenever we've gone anywhere Wi-Fi connecting in like a restaurant or in a cafe, it's been good. As Langkawi nowadays is suggested as a digital nomad location, I can understand why. A few factors that are a downfall to that is there are not many gyms on the island. Like, we had to drive 25 minutes the other day just to go to the gym. It was super cheap. It was only £1 or just over $1 for a day pass, which was really good and really cost effective, but we had to drive a little bit to get there. That was in the main town of Kuala. Other slight downside, you would need to fly into Kuala Lumpur, generally speaking, to be able to fly internationally, at least to most places, which if ever you're trying to go home quickly or travel somewhere quickly, that's a slight downfall. I think having to catch 2 to 3 flights is definitely a downside, but it does have the airport and you are only 1 hour away from Kuala Lumpur, which you can then fly to pretty much anywhere in the world from. The food in Langkawi hasn't been as good as we've eaten elsewhere in Malaysia, but don't take that as such a negative. It's just the bar was set very high elsewhere in Malaysia. Your modes of transport will generally be renting a scooter or taxi. Both are very viable, both are pretty cheap. The scooters aren't as cheap as other places I've rented by any means, but maybe if you were going for a monthly rental, the price would come down, I'm sure. We just went for a daily rental, so it was up around that $8 to $10 mark. Now, I did not know what to expect of Langkawi. I always had in my head that it was going to be like a subpar version of Thailand. I thought this would just be an island that I would not be able to stop comparing it to Thailand. And whilst I have compared a lot of it to Thailand, being so close and being so visually similar, it has a lot of differences. You can tell the vibe is different here. You can tell the type of tourist is different here. You can tell the pace of life is different here. The culture of drinking is different here. Whether all of them things are for better or worse, they certainly are different and they make for a different experience. So if you've never been, I would suggest coming here, especially if you need to leave Thailand for any reason, for a visa run, or if you just want something different and to taste a lot of the good points of Thailand, but you want to remove some of the drinking aspect, some of the party aspect, and want to come and see somewhere different. As I said, those aspects of Thailand are great and they are not necessarily bad things by any means, but if you want a different experience, come in here experiencing this culture, immersing yourself in a new place and having kind of a bridge the gap between what is Malaysia and what is Thailand. I think if you were to speak to most people that have been to mainland Malaysia and have done some traveling or spent some time in Thailand, they would probably agree that this feels like a real mix between the two. You've still got very much the Malaysian personality, identity and culture, but in terms of aesthetics and visuals and that slower pace, this ticks them boxes. So you've got that island feel, that tropical feel, that paradise feel, but you just haven't got as much of the drinking culture or as much of the, well, you haven't potentially got as much of the feel that tourism owns this place. That is my personal opinion. I'll be interested to know yours. Let me know down in the comments if you've been here before to Langkawi. Let me know if you agree or disagree with what I said about the place. And I genuinely have been impressed. I like it a lot. If there were more training options here and they connected the flights a little bit better, I could see myself being here longer term, plotting up in Langkawi, because you have got the best of multiple things. It's a beautiful place. The pace of life is quite slow. The internet connection is quite good. The weather has been very good. The beaches and landscape is out of this world. And the people seem generally nice, and the cost is low, which is another big plus. Guys, as always, I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.